Yo visualizers, STVinMotion here again. This time I want to show you a project that I created. It's made out of 7 different loops, and I can make all kind of variations out of it, create an interesting set with not very much loops. And I want to show you the techniques I used here to make it, and maybe you can use it in your own sets with different loops as well. So let's start. So this is made from 7 loops. We got this hovering one, a similar hovering one. This is with 4 different beats. This one is when the cables connect to it. We got one where it is controlled by the cables. We got a background here and more of a drop background where it has some action going on. The character that I created is lit with a red light. It's a red beam light from the back of it. So that's why whenever I use any kind of a light source here, it looks like it is lighting it in a way. So it looks connected. So even if I'll use these or even this, it looks like it lights the character from behind, and that's why I can use all of these shapes here very easily, and it looks like part of the scene. I'm just using here a shape, can be found in the sources under shape. You can just drag it, drop it, then you can just tweak it whatever you like. What I did here is I added a couple of I think the bloom here is the most important thing, because this is the shape, just a shape with a red color, and then I added this blur which function like glow, but the bloom is the important thing that made this white center, and it looks much better than just solid. So that's how I'm using this. You see that the shape at the back is pulsing with light, and also we can see the light affecting the character itself. But what I did here is actually the light is on the character, and also the light is pulsing here. And this is made with this level trick. The way to do it is I'm using the base here on a BPM sync, and then I placed here this 4 to the floor, one of my presets, this one, and I limited it, the bass, to 48% to 0.50%. This is it, and here we got the ratio. So the ratio is using the same thing, ratio is in the middle, and then I can use here. So let's see what happens when you see it flickers stronger or slower. It happens to both loops. It looks like they're connected, and that's great. This one I'm using the flip. So what I did is I just I added a transform effect. I moved the anchor point here, and then I rotated the Z rotated 360 degrees. And then what I did is I added a flip effect. So let's just add a flip here. So instead of the flip just flipping it, I'm using a trick that is using the parts blending mode. So here it is, and in the parts I'm just going to have the opacity very, very narrow, like 1% or even less. And then what I have is actually like a mirror that adds another copy on top of it. So that's how I created this, and I turned it into this. I think it's really cool. And this is another similar thing with the same flip but without the rotation. This is a little bit different because remember that we had two loops here, one of these and one of these, and when I'm using here, I'm using the two different loops, so it looks more, you know, less symmetric, less mirrored and more organic. So that's how I achieve this look. I think it's worth it sometimes, so that's why I used it. This one is using just the same trick with the flip, and here is a radial cloner. The radial cloner is rotating. We had the master rotation of it rotating, and then we have two clones. Yeah, I could add more clones, but actually I wanted just to have one in the back of the other, and that's how it's made. We also have a delay here, a little bit of delay that makes the move a little bit differently. Another one with the radial cloner. So here you see that we got this same circle at the behind that lights supposedly the back of it, but from the front it's lit with the top light. Let's close it and let's examine it here again. You see there is a light that's coming from above, but you can't see it. So what I did here is I added another ring of a white, bluish white color, and it looks like also again part of the scene. What I did here is interesting. I used a solid color, so you just get to the sources and you add a solid, and then we can change the color of it with the color. We don't need to have it right now, but that's what it is. It's solid, and then I think I just pushed the position of it to just center in this area. And then I added this, and I wanted to have some kind of a reflection of it, so I added another loop, and this loop is applied with blur, and we transform. Both of these are with transform. This is with a blend mode multiply and opacity to 55, and then if we trigger everything together, this looks like a kind of a mirror of the upper character. What we have here, I'm using the linear cloner in an interesting way. So we're gonna flip here as well. So the linear cloner is I can just have two clones, and then I can set the center of it. You see that the center is moved, so I'm moving it to the side, and then I'm moving the other clone as well, and then I'm adding a flip. And I did the same thing on the circle here, and voila, that's what we have. It's all made with the two slots of clips. So this is also interesting because whenever I make visuals, I want to show you, you see that this character, I try to scale it as much as I can inside the frame to have the maximum pixel used. So if you see this one, because this is moving, it just barely touches the frames here to not exceed the frames. So the advantage of you when you have it large like that is that you can just play with it more. So I just use transform here, and then I use the flip and another flip to have it in the 100% scale. That's how we can achieve this look. What do we have here? Every time that the character changes, also this shaper, we have the same fall to the floor on it on the scale. What I wanted here to do is to be able to trigger these, you see, in a different timing. So you can trigger each one of the characters in each timing. This is why this setup is made like that. We got another loop here, and this is made with a different shape in the behind, which is a triangle here. What I want to show you is that I can take this, but I can also make it into this look, which is also using the flip again. And I'm just taking this original one and I'm just pushing it 90 degrees to the right and to the side. So now it's here, and now I flipped it. This is the look that we get. This is another one that I created, in this white shape here acts as something that justifies the light here, but also it covers this thing because this is the end of the loop. So when I'm covering it like this, I can always verify that everything looks well. Another one with this shape. Here I'm having these light flashes with the same levels that I already showed you. Another similar one where it was in the center and then I moved it to the side, and then I applied a mirror on it, and then I use this plus shape to cover. Most of the time it covers these cables, and I like it like that. Another radial cloner trick. So this is just made from this loop, of course, and then I really like the way that the human body coordinates. I had a couple of pecs, Kiss Me, and I really like the way the body moves in synchronization. Got another one here which has a little bit of a delay here. And then we have another one here. Maybe if we'll close this, you can see that I'm just using this loop, and these hands are shown in this circle. So you can actually have whatever you want at the center, and you can just swap whatever you want at the center. And this is the beauty of it. When you create everything in layers, you can just start playing between the shapes and between the characters. I also created the background here that fits the character, and also the lighting. So you see that there is a lighting at the back here that justifies this red light, and from above it's lit with the white light, but we can't see the lamp here. And what I did, you see that there is a kind of a shadow here, because let's see how it looks without it. It looks good, but I wanted to really fake it, that it's hovering in this room chamber. And then what I did is I just added another loop. So this is just it. Let's close this. There it is, just this. This is how it was. I flipped it and then I pushed it downwards, and then I added a blur on it. And when I trigger them together, it kind of looks like there is a ambient occlusion or a kind of reflection of it on the floor. So this is also made for this, as well as this, and another one. And lastly, I created a couple of hues. So I'm just using the hue effect here to give you some idea of how you can adjust the colors of this and fit it to the lighting that you have in the club. I hope this gave you some insight about how I create the loops and also how I arrange them on the deck, so I could create a plethora of looks that can fit the calm part of it, the build up, and also fit the drop. If you have any questions, ask below the video and I'll do my best to answer you. So go and amaze them.